So how strong are your solar panels really? That's a lot of sandbags.
It's a lot of sandbag.
And one of the things solar panels have to be rated for is a certain amount of dead load. I honestly didn't expect us to get to this volume, but let's see. Let's see what it does to the module. So we're gonna use these sandbags. We're gonna see just how much weight this solar module can take until it reaches the point of failure.
I'm gonna try even heavier.
I do.
Okay. Okay.
Well, we didn't get all dressed up for nothing, so I do want to see what we can actually push this thing to the point of failure. Let's load up another
Let's do it.
load of sandbags.
Let's see how much it can take.
The smarter way to go solar.
All right, I'm back with George from REC. Now, George, we're going to be doing a little bit different test than the last one. I know in a previous video we did a hail test to see what the solar panel could take in terms of hail size and impact speed. Now, in today's video, we're going to be doing more testing with sandbags, simulating snow load, and what else what are we showing here?
So what we're trying to do is simulate what are the dead loads that the panels can hold. So you're looking at your positive loading, which is what's called typically referred to as snow load. And then we'll also, we won't be doing that today, but you also want to rate your panels to wind load. So that's negative loading. What we're going to do is start out with 1,800 pascals worth of sandbags, which should be not a problem. What we'll see here is we'll see some deflection in the solar modules. The solar modules need to be able to withstand 5,400 pascals, which is 112 pounds per square foot. That's the minimum standard to come into the United States. So all of your panels will handle that loading. And we're going to see what will happen with this. We're going to load it, see what it looks like, put a little bit more on it, see what it looks like. So let's see what.
All right, let's
see how it performs.
Okay, George, so we've got about 1,800 Pascal worth of sandbags on the solar module right now. Kind of explain for the audience, what does that approximate to in terms of real world, how many feet of snow, or under what conditions would the solar panel be loaded with this much load?
So that's a really good question. So what we're looking for here is, this is going to equal, so 1 foot of snow equals about 20 pounds per square foot. So what we're seeing here is we're probably seeing, what is this? But we're probably seeing less than a foot of snow on the solar panel. What you want to look at is you can see the deflection. There's a slight deflection here. You also want to check out your corner pieces. Make sure you don't have separation at your corners, because that means if those do separate, you'll get flexing in the panel, and it could be an early failure mode. With something like this, the panel's not going to, you don't see much reflecting, and when you pull this off, the modules will come out flat again. So not really expecting to see any problems right here.
Okay, now we're going to step up the load on the next round testing here. What do you expect to see as we apply additional load, which is, I guess, another approximately 1,800 Pascal?
1,800, yeah. We'll put another 750 pounds on. You'll see basically the same thing that's happening here. You'll see more flexing. But what you don't want to see is excessive flex where you break the glass or any of your corner pieces separate.
Okay, so as it is right now, the solar module is 100% functional.
Absolutely,
still producing power.
Exactly, yes.
All right, let's see what happens in round 2. So George, just dropped another layer of sandbags here on the solar module. So this is 2,400 Pascal?
Right.
Okay, so what does that mean in kind of real world terms now?
So in real world terms, we're at about 50 pounds per square feet. And what that calculates to is about 2 feet of snow. Snow is really difficult to measure because it's light snow, fluffy snow, wet snow. Typically about 20 pounds per square foot is what you expect for snow. And you can see there's a little bit of bowing in the panel, but again, the panel's fully functional. There's not going to be any damage to the panel at this loading.
Okay, what are some of the things that you should look for, maybe as a homeowner? What would indicate to you that the panel is healthy versus unhealthy?
So what you want to do is see that the frame is not pulling out away from the laminate because it grabs onto the glass. Make sure that's not pulling out. Again, you want to check your corner pieces. I guess the first thing is check to see that the glass is not broken. That's pretty easy to see. But the hidden things that you want to see, it makes sure that you're not having The frames pull out of the clamps right here, which you'll see sometimes if the module flexes too much, it'll pull out of the clamps. Again, everything looks solid on this test. Nothing is unexpected.
Okay, now at this level, is this the level that modules have to be tested to be installed here in California?
So you can pass at 2,400 pascals. Typically what module manufacturers test to is 5,400 pascals. So that's the next test level that we're going to take it to.
Okay, so 5,400 is kind of the current state of the art.
That's the state of the art. That that's the level that everyone tests, that pretty much everyone tests to. You can test at lower rates. It kind of disqualifies you from some snow load areas by not having that high snow load rating.
Got it, got it. All right, let's push it up.
Let's do this.
Okay, George, so we're at 5,400 Pascal now, and then in terms of pounds, that's what, about 1,500 pounds?
So it is 1,200 or 112 pounds per square foot.
Well,
yeah.
George, I gotta say though, just looking at the module from here, it doesn't look a whole lot different at 5,400 than when we were just at 1,800. I mean, in terms of the deflection, I don't know. Is there anything that we should be looking out for here? To me, it looks the same.
So what you'll see is you'll see a little bit of bending. This is what's called the cantilever. This is your max cantilever. So once you see that, you'll see a little bit more bend on the cantilevered areas. In the middle, you're not seeing much because that's supported on both sides. What you want to look for, again, is corner key separation, anything that looks anomalous. And right now, this looks really good. Also want to make sure you're not slipping out of your clamps. With the larger modules, some of the wider modules are actually having a problem with that, where they aren't failing, but they're flexing so much that they're pulling out of the clamps. We aren't seeing that. This is a good, so what you would do if this was actually a real test, you would leave this for 1 hour, pull it off, cycle it again. You do it 3 times, and then you can't see more than 5% degradation in power and no dead cells in the electroluminescence testing. So right now, this is doing exactly what we expect it to do. You want to try even heavier?
I do, but this is basically the standard that most Tier 1 modules are testing to today,
Yes.
right? 5,400 Pascal.
5,400 pascals is going to be what all of your modules should be listed to. That's what the REC is. We expect that the REC will actually hold considerably more weight than this. But let's find out.
Okay, yeah, let's push it to the limit. Okay, George, so we actually just had a second to do the math here. With the current load, we're actually already at 5,800 Pascal, over the 5,400 that you say is the industry standard.
So yeah, that's pretty exciting. Again, this has to do with the packaging of the solar module, the frame, and the back support bars is going to give you a higher loading than what is expected. So this isn't a surprise that we're above the industry standards with the REC products.
Okay. Well, George, I know a lot of the audience here is watching. They want to see, when will this solar panel fail? Let's try to push it over 6,000 on the next one.
Let's do it.
All right, George, now we're over 6,000 now. We're at 6,200 Pascal. When would you see conditions like this in the real world?
So that's a good question. What we're seeing here is about 130 PSF. It's about, this is equal to what you would do if you're genericizing, about 6.5 feet of snow on the solar panels. You can see you're seeing significant bending, or noticeable. I would say significant, it's noticeable. It's still staying in the clamps. Corner pieces are all together. The glass is not broken. This is a strong and robust module. It's going to last heavy snow loads. This is showing it. So let's see what see if we can go even bigger than this.
All right, let's go. So we just took a moment and did the math again. So with the current loading now, we're already at 6,800 Pascal. Do you think we can really safely push past 7,000?
So the REC solar panels are certified to withstand 7,000 pascals of loading, 146 pounds per square foot. And so we're very close to that. Technically, we're at that range. Let's see how much farther we can go above this before we fail.
Okay. I mean, do you think it's going to last the next one, or do you think this will push it over? Because I believe the next If we do another layer of sandbags like this, that's going to put us where?
That'll put us,
7,500,
that'll put
8,000?
us at, yeah, that'll put us about 8,000 pascals, which is probably the limit of the solar panel frame itself. So I'd expect to see it fail at this next load. But let's find out.
All right, let's see what happens. That's why we're here.
Here we go. So let's see how it does. We're going to load this up to over 8,000 pascals, about 7.5, 8 feet of snow.
Here we go.
Let's see what it looks like.
That's a lot of sandbags.
It's a lot of sandbags.
I honestly didn't expect us to get to this volume, but let's see. Let's see what it does to the module. Okay, so he's like
Exactly, it's a delicate touch.
making sure the load is
Yeah.
evenly distributed. Here we go. Whoa. So we are over 8,000 Pascal now, is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
It looks like the frame and the glass is still intact from what I can see.
it's doing great. It looks solid. Not doing too much bending on the cantilever.
But how long can it hold like this?
Holy crappers.
The corners seem to still be intact also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything looks-
Did you do the math on this?
So this is 8,000 pascals. We're at 160. Let me think.
Oh, I hear something.
Yep. Yeah.
8,600.
8,600.
All right, we're at 8,600 Pascal.
180 pounds per square feet. That's 9 feet of snow.
9 feet of snow. Total weight on the module right now? 3,600 pounds on a single solar module right now. So this would be,
1.7.99 per square feet.
Yeah.
wow, okay.
It's
Well,
almost
George-
too close.
We thought it was going to pop. Let's be honest, we thought it was going to pop on this one, guys. So this is about 9 feet of snow.
About 9 feet of snow, 180 pounds per square feet. You can see that the module is still surviving quite well. Cantilever is not bending too much. Corners are not separating. We may run out of sandbags before we find what it causes this to fail. This is again showing you that REC not only provides solid performance, but we're doing above and beyond what the panel is rated to. The panel is rated to 7,000 pascals. You can see that we're significantly higher than that already.
Wow. Okay. Well, we didn't get all dressed up for nothing, so I do want to see when we can actually push this thing to the point of failure. Let's load up another
Let's do it.
load of sandbags.
Let's see how much it can take.
Okay. All right. We're about to put another layer of sandbags here. Now, George, with this, where would that put us in terms of load?
So this put us at 9,000 pascals. We're putting another 750 pounds on this. This is probably 8.5 feet of snow, which your roof is going to cave in if you got that much on it. But let's see what it does and see just how strong the REC back support bars and frame is.
Okay, here we go. I think this is the last one too, because I think we're out of room with the crane here. So let's see what it does.
Well, there is that too.
All right, well, George, I wouldn't really call this a total failure, but we basically reached the limit of what we can do with the test equipment we were putting it up to 9,000 Pascal. And at that point, there was enough of a little bit of flex on that front side of the solar panel that a lot of the sandbags, as you can see, a lot of the sandbags just fell off. Explain for the viewers, what would you have expected to see if we could have added even more sandbags on top? Eventually, what would have happened to the solar module?
Yeah, so ultimately what you're going to see is you'll see failure, as we mentioned earlier, at the cantilever level. It will typically break at one of the clamping zones right in here. So this will fold, the frame will break, which will cause the glass to break. It'll be one of the four cantilever points. Again, we maxed out. We don't have enough, didn't have enough weight to stick on here. So we're saying that this will handle loads of over 8,000, of over 9,000 pascals without significant damage. Pretty impressive. Wish we could have shown you the break.
Yeah, no, this was not scripted, folks. We fully expected for the module frame to fail at this point. So we had it at 6,800, we had it over 7,000, we had it over 8,000. We're going to push it over 9,000 Pascal. And at this point, basically, we've reached the capacity of what the crane, how high the crane can stack these bags, and really, realistically, just how many sandbags we can get on this thing without losing it, because the panel has flexed enough to where the sandbags were not going to stay on there. So we've pretty much reached the limit to which we can test the module. As you can see, the module, from what we can see here, is showing strength beyond what the stated rated power is, or
Loading
the
capacity.
The loading capacity
Yep.
is. Yeah, this is how it's done, folks. So, when you look at these solar panel spec sheets, you see all these numbers as far as hail impact rating, degradation rate, temperature coefficient, snow load, wind load rating. These numbers aren't just made up theoretical by the engineers. These solar modules have to come to a facility like this. Again, we're at the Renewable Energy Test Center in Fremont, California, but they have to come to a third-party testing facility like this to make sure that they're actually rated at those specifications before they can be sold into the market. All right, well, we weren't able to get this solar module to break, but we can show you an example of what a slightly larger solar module looks like when it reaches that breaking point. George, anything else that the viewer should know about REC or just about solar panel testing in general?
So happy to see that we did perform above our specifications. It's not a surprise. The REC product is one of the strongest frames in the industry. And that's with the 30mm frame with the corner keys and the two back support bars. Again, giving you the highest snow load rating and wind load rating in the industry.
Great. Well, George, good to see you again. Thanks
Good
to
to
REC for sponsoring and providing the test equipment for today's video. But folks, we're going to have more of these extreme testing videos for you coming out throughout the year. So again, we want to kind of get you out of the studio, get you out of the trade show expo environment, and show you more hands-on content of really how this solar equipment works and how it can stand up to real-world extreme conditions. But that pretty much does it for today's video. As always, if you're getting good value from these videos, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Also, go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't done so already. That way, as we have new videos like this coming out, it'll come up on your recommendations and you can stay up to date with everything. But that does it for today. I thank you all for spending some more time on the channel. And as always, I'm Joe Ordia here, encouraging you to get prepared and be empowered. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.